Welcome back to another episode of our
Yes,
last
sir.
30. Cesar and I here. Excited to offer another opportunity for us to chit chat. Last week when we met, man, we took a couple of emails that asked us to give our perspective. We did that. We got some feedback on that. Lots of views on that video. Pretty excited about that turnout. And we wanted to follow up with that. We got quite a bit of emails, and we're like, let's do this again, man. I was telling Caesar, he tends to get most of the emails and stuff. I got this one, and I thought it was a unique perspective. It still stays within our theme, our goal of our last 30 and what that looks like. But people want to know a little bit about us. Specifically, they want to know, like, what do you do? What's your normal day look like? And specific to like higher ed, we actually turns out we're both higher education professionals. And again, what does that look like? As a matter of fact, the email I got here is what is a normal day in higher ed for you two?
Mine's easy. En la mañana no hago nada y en la tarde descanso.
In the morning, he don't do a whole lot. In the afternoon, he just rests. I was like, so what's a normal day in higher ed for you two? I know I have a lot of friends in higher education, and they give different perspectives. What's yours? So let's do it, man. Let's talk about that. Our last 30, your hosts, Dr. Fred, Cesar, and what's it like, man? What's it like in higher ed? Could you have even envisioned being in higher ed, dude, when you were younger, right?
No, I didn't even know higher ed was a realm, possibility.
Yeah.
But what I think, honestly, higher ed didn't come into the picture till my sophomore year in college, because that was whenever we started LAMP freshman year.
Started a student mentorship program, and so that was his first employment.
Ended up flunking out my freshman year
of college.
No, out of the program.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, motherfuckers kicked me out. You and Julian did.
Excuse me. Program coordinators have standards.
That I did not meet.
You didn't meet them.
Yeah, that 1.14.
There are consequences in life, my friend.
Bro, trust me. I came back strong sophomore year, I think. That's whenever I really got involved with the program, because that's whenever we started doing the restructuring, reshifting stuff.
Yeah.
And then junior year is whenever we presented at the conference. Got it nationally recognized and stuff like that with the work that we had been doing over the summer. Mm-hmm. And that's whenever I got introduced to higher ed, because we went to the Tacha conference that first year here in Addison. We presented there, met a bunch of amazing people that we still keep in touch with.
Yep.
And that's how I got involved with higher ed, because after that, it's just literally spiraled into more conferences, more presentations, more connections, more collaborations with other entities, with Dallas College, the conversations that we had with Dr. Barrientos, with the president at that time, with Dr. Macario now too as well. Some of that interactions that we had with him while we were in commerce, and that's how it led me into higher ed. Because other than that, I mean, I was my background's in psychology and criminal justice, so that's where my bachelor's is at. With a minor in sociology. So yeah, you can relate it into higher education, because obviously we use that sociology, that psychology aspect into the mentorship programs and the stuff that we've done, but never saw myself like, oh, I'm gonna be a higher ed professional.
It's true. I haven't met a whole lot of people who who wanted to go to higher ed. For myself, just like you, Cesar, I didn't know, never thought about it. Of course, people had to work there. Like, how else is this business running? But I'd never thought, like, I could be in higher ed. I could work at a university. The stereotype I had of people who worked at the university were smartest people, super educated, and grew up somewhere else. They couldn't even connect locally. It's the same thought I had of attorneys and medical doctors, and you start realizing that, why do you have malpractice lawsuits? Why do you have people still getting fired? Even at those positions, like these are among what we think are the smartest people in our communities, and they make terrible decisions sometimes, right? So education, formally educated, doesn't mean you're an educated person.
Oh, of course.
We talked about that last week as well. again, in my experiences and stuff, I realized like that's something I would consider doing. And just like Caesar, started off as a student, and then the opportunity came to actually work at the university in a setting that for me is quite inspiring. I'm going to be honest with you, but it's not for everyone, right? It's just like teaching is not for everyone, or working in certain industries. Like you have to have a certain unique skill set to do that.
You have to have patience. I think that's one of the biggest things. We have to have the political correctness of dealing with people in higher ups that we might not necessarily agree with. And I think it goes back in history. Higher education wasn't made for the minorities. Higher education professions were not made for the minorities either. So we're still having to battle through all of that. So it comes with that. It comes with the territory, being able to have that grit and resilience, to be able to deal with the issues that we go through at work, and then the students that we deal with, the stories that we hear on a day-to-day basis, especially with the communities that we've served. I mean, you, the executive director of Latinx, being running mentorship programs for minority males, Hispanic students, Latino students, the struggles that they face to get to higher education, that also takes a toll on the professional. So that battle fatigue comes into play as well. So you need to have a strong mindset, a strong support group as well that helps you cope with what we go through on a day-to-day basis at work. And people don't necessarily see it that way. People don't necessarily think about it, but it takes a huge toll on our mental health and our mindset, and how we really interact and go about things. Because people say, "Oh, leave it at work." No, how are you going to leave at work whenever you just heard a student that is barely surviving to go to school, barely surviving how to eat, not having a place to live. Some students that are homeless, living out of their cars, having to go through different support programs at the universities or colleges that they're at in order to survive. You can't just leave that at home and be like, well, I'll deal with it tomorrow whenever I'm there. Exactly. That's always on the front of your head and front of your mind thinking about it. So yeah, people might not think about it, and I think that's it's a great way. It's a great thing that this individual asked about it, because we're able to give that perspective. Yeah. And people can see like, oh shoot, it's not just going into work. Oh, let me go in and do the job and taking care of business. It's a lot more demanding.
Yeah, it's a lot like you talk to therapists and counselors and psychologists. Yeah. They take on a huge an emotional load. Yeah. And what that does, you talk to law enforcement officers, you talk to people in the medical field, particularly you heard a lot of stories during COVID, and what that emotional toll does to the human spirit. It just wears you out. I met a veteran, this woman a few weeks back, and she was talking about a specific detail. She had a job that she was assigned, and that was a funeral detail. And so for several months during her enlistment, she did 3 and 4 funerals a day. And
that's rough.
Giving that honor to those men and women, mostly men, because of the period, who passed away. And what that does to your mind and your body, man, it wears you out. And that's why they only give you a few months to knock that out. But it's like, well, what does this topic have to do with your podcast? Is our last 30, right? It's like, yeah, but this is where we came to be. This is where we've gained insight and access to colleagues and information and research that allows us to learn this skill set, to have the resources available. I would argue even the confidence, right? Like, and then just the willingness to not.
Bro, the confidence from it. I wouldn't have been doing this without being in the program that I was in. Yeah. I wouldn't have done this if I wouldn't have gone through what I did. I was the guy in the back sitting down, just listening, taking notes from whatever people were talking. I was never.
And you didn't even take notes.
The first year, no. The first year, no. I was just there to party.
It was like this.
I was writing.
Sir, circles and happy faces are not taking notes.
No.
By the way, you'll see here I'm wearing my shirt.
And you see, this is the program that started. So.
It's a Higher Ed Homies organization that Cesar and I started really to help uplift this side of, just a kind of, if you will, a non-traditional side of higher education, right? Those guys who experience just a unique path to higher education. It's why, I remember, I talk about him often, like Jelly Roll or JD DeLay or Patrick Bet-David or Joe Rogan, so many others as well. Guys that we listen to, we look up to, because they took a non-traditional path to their success. And I think the lesson is that if you think this about yourself, then it's true.
Yeah.
But if you'll change, and if it's a negative thing, it's really true. But if you want to change your perspective and say, like, actually, I want to start thinking about and treat myself this way, in a positive way, that is also
it's
true.
a mindset.
So it's the mindset and how you treat yourself and how you allow others to treat you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to change that, for us, higher education was that place. So I like this question, like, what does it look like? And, I'll add to it, like, kind of what got you into it. What got us into it was that we were seeking an opportunity. And for us, the opportunity came by way of an education.
Yeah.
During that path, we discovered other opportunities, as is the case. I know of a lot of students that come from smaller towns or big cities into a university, and they just fall in love with the environment. And I will tell you this, a university, for those who have never spent a whole lot of time there, or it's been a while, or don't know, right? You're new to this country, or you're a sophomore, junior, senior in high school, you don't know what it's like. It's intimidating. I know that. It's like a small city. We have our own police departments. We have our own water systems and electricity. So all those things, right? Our own postal system. We have our own living areas and lodging and places to call home, to pick up your mail, to eat, and several options to eat. So like whatever you find in a small city is what encompasses a university.
The gym, everything.
Like all this stuff, dude. Counseling, everything that you find in mid-sized cities, medical
attention, medicals, yeah.
It's fascinating, man. So like for us, is like, for me, I started at the university 18 years ago, at this specific university, and I'd worked at others before, but at this one, why haven't you left, man? Like, I love what I do.
Yeah.
I'm pretty privileged to do that. And I have everything I need within the university. Yeah. Like if I really wanted, if I wasn't feeling well, I can go down to the student clinic, or and they would see you. Or if you want to check in with a counselor real quick, you have friends and professionals that could assist you as well. And those are just things that the little offerings at the university and why. And so, to answer, so what does a normal day look like for you at the university? I mean, of course, if you're in higher ed, you're laughing right now. Like, there's no normal day. Right? And that's true. I think it's pretty true about in any industry, most industries. Yeah. If you ask a police officer, what's a normal day? Like, I can give you
maybe 2 or 3 things that we do on a day-to-day basis.
But you don't know what calls coming in.
Yeah.
You don't know how that's going to happen. For us, it's same, right? Like, we can give you a standard answer. And then, so let's keep it standard first, and then let's go into what are some of the more unique things you've seen.
Oh no! So I think the beginning of the day. So I like to get there early. I think that for me that's always been we've always been there early. So probably get there around 7:30. Check emails.
Yep.
That's the first thing you do. Get in there, check emails from the night before. Anything that was not done on the previous day, check those emails. Make sure you don't have anything going on. Make sure your calendar is set for the meetings.
No surprises, right? We're like, what we're trying to do is like, all right, we're not in something come over. I need to see you at 8.
Yeah,
you don't
exactly.
If you roll in at 8:15, 8:20 at your job, particularly higher ed, the day has started.
Oh yeah.
Maybe you already.
Some of these administrators are up at 5:30 in the morning sending you emails telling you, hey, this is what's gonna happen.
That's what it's looking like.
And even I think the biggest part of it too is like for me, and some of the positions that we've had, the dress that you wear, how you dress yourself for that day, has a lot to do with what's happening on that day.
That's right.
Sometimes we're more chill, we're more relaxed. You can go on with just a plain polo. You're cool, everything's cool. But if you have a meeting with the president, you can't just show up with a polo.
You can't wear a t-shirt that says gordito.
Or the high red homies.
High red homies,
homie
gordito,
over here.
You know, like so again, but that's a good point also, like how you present yourself is how people receive you.
Of course.
Right? And so if I were to be meeting with families doing a consult and I wore this shirt, we do our podcast on the weekends, man. So I like to wear my little t-shirt that says gordito or whatever else, Corpus Christi. I have different shirts.
Make pedophiles afraid again.
Make pedophiles afraid again, like I wore last week, a couple weeks back. You know, the thing is, trying to make a little statement, have a little fun. You can't do that at work.
No.
At work, you have to present yourself. You have to look a certain way, smell a certain way. Haircut has to be clean. Like, if you look messy, and you've been somewhere where you go somewhere and someone looks a little on the messy side.
You're like, do I really want to be here?
In the back of your mind, you're like, does this person really know what they're doing? Yeah. You know, I know I engage with people, and I appreciate to see them present well.
Yeah.
I was talking to Kali the other day, and he was commenting about this other person in a building that he works in. He says, if you saw a person dressed like that, what would you think? I'm like, I don't know that I would seek those services that they're selling from them.
Yeah.
You know, whether you're a salesman or for cars, on insurance, the Kirby Vax, whatever it is you're selling, how you present yourself goes a long way, man.
Yeah.
You got to, right?
But I think also, like, with that being said, we're always professional, both since we're very student driven and family driven, and not driven, but facing with at the school. If you go with the suit and tie every single day to work, whenever you're meeting with families see you a different way.
That's true too.
So yeah, they're a little bit more
separating yourself.
Yeah, you're like, yeah.
I see it.
So sometimes that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes you got to go in with the polo, chill, relax, for people to see you a little bit more approachable, semi-casual. Yeah, to see you more approachable. Obviously, you're not going to go in shorts and flip flops, but a little bit more semi-professional, semi-casual kind of stuff, to be a little bit more approachable.
Yeah.
For the families.
Do you wear cologne to work?
Yeah. No, I have to every day.
Yeah, you can't, like, even for me, like, I love cologne. I ask because, like, I have a pretty extensive cologne selection.
Yeah, I got a few.
But you have to be mindful, right? Like, you don't want to choke people out. You don't want to.
Yes.
You don't want it to be like, this guy smells so good, or like,
vice versa.
In a bad way, right? Yeah, or vice versa. Like, hey, bro, have you hit a shower lately? Kind of thing. You know what I mean? Are you hiding behind that Louis Vuitton scent? Nah, bro, you got to hit that shower.
If you throw that Louis Vuitton scent and you have a shower, that's a whole different combination of smells.
Hey, it's like, it's too much. And so look and how you present yourself goes a long way. What about, like, preparation and stuff? Like, you get there early, start preparing for the day. What does that look like?
Yeah, so emails, make sure that I don't have any meetings on the agenda. We're making sure I know what meetings I got in the agenda and prepare for them. And then,
what does a meeting look like for you guys? Like, in higher ed, what are we talking about in meetings?
Anything and everything.
Yeah, right.
It depends on the day. We could be talking about a student. We could be talking about policy. We could be talking about an event. We could be talking about one of the support programs that we do. We could be doing professional development. What else do we do? We could be literally just having a cafecito, chit chat over Zoom or with the peers. Just because sometimes it's needed. Sometimes we do need to just decompress out of that work mode.
There's whole industries that are not communicating, literally in silos. And what I appreciate about higher education in most universities is that the teams get together and smaller teams get together. It reminds me of when I was in the military. And so you had your large group formation, right? The unit, your company, and then you had the smaller teams, whether your headquarters detachment, your whatever, the terms escape me. And actually, that's a specific thing that I'm working on right now with my health. Having had stroke, like those kinds of things. Actually, believe it or not, I'm not trying to be funny here. Those things negatively affect you and your ability to communicate effectively. And so the irony, of course, that we do a podcast, and the irony where we're speaking, the irony where the majority of my day is speaking, and you have difficulty saying words or holding thoughts. That's kind of been the most difficult part to my post-stroke transition. It's like, dude, in my head, like I was talking to my spouse today, it's like, I know what I'm trying to say, but I'm having difficulty. Like there's an interruption, and it's weird, dude. So, anyways, as you guys get older and stuff, you gotta take care of your health and be aware of all that, because that's one of the ones that could really do some serious pain to you and stuff like that. But for me, normal day, similar like Caesar's, I get there early, man. I get up 4:35 every morning, do my little workout or breathing, or just take some time to process the day and time for myself. I like to take my time getting dressed. I like to present myself well, get to the office, commute through traffic in a large city, one of the largest cities in the United States. And I like to get in my office early, and I like to go through my emails. I like to write my list of what I'm going to do that day, print out my calendar, all that stuff. It really helps me be prepared. And if I'm prepared and I'm meeting with students or families or my colleagues or my boss, you reflect someone who has their stuff together. If you show up late and your hair's messed up and you look razzled, and it's just not a good look. That's anywhere, right? And like I think about this, all the time. Not that I get pulled over a lot, but I get pulled over quite a bit. I'm pretty good about, driving a little fast. Whatever. Not me. Yeah, I know. But if a police officer pulled you over, just look beat up, and the uniform was all messed up, and you'd be like, back in my mind, I'd be like, are you a real police officer? Or is this one of them videos where people bought the uniform and You're like, hey man, so how you present yourself and being professional really matters, right? If you're the judge, I've been around enough attorneys. I've seen some messy looking boy. I've seen some dudes look quite a rough, man. And I'm like, dude, you're representing somebody, man.
Pobrecitos.
I feel sorry for you if that's your representation. Me, I need to have me an attorney, and whoever's representing me looking clean, smelling good, fresh haircut or whatever it is. But if you looking rough, man, I don't mean to be mean, but I'm judging you, man.
Oh yeah,
this is what it is. It's our industry and how you present yourself. Do you want to go to a university where everyone's looking rough and stuff? Like, hey, they ain't paying y'all enough money to have a nice suit.
They don't.
No, they don't. So that's one of the questions on here, right? So let's talk about, without getting into specifics, does the university pay well?
Even if we don't want to get into specifics, it's public knowledge. We work for public entities.
You're encouraging people to go look.
I'm not saying, but
So it's true.
If anybody
we work for a state, and so any state employee, you can go look at their salary, and
you can look at the president of the university, presidents of the colleges, at how much they make. It's all public knowledge.
You could go to your state and find out who is the highest paid member of the university community. I will tell you this though: the highest paid members of the university are not the presidents.
Nope.
It's researchers. What I see
in Texas.
It's the coaches.
There you go. The football coaches.
It's the football coaches,
bro. These A&M coaches.
Nationwide though, it's going to be
nationwide.
Be like a medical researcher.
For sure.
That's a professor. Okay. But overall, you're right. Bro, it's the coaches.
The coach is making millions.
Crazy. If you want to know how much the coach at your local university makes, look it up. Google it, and you can find a whole website and all this other stuff. And it's usually within a year or two range. There's other benefits and all that kind of stuff. The point is this: I would argue this. People say that in higher ed you don't get paid that much. You get paid pretty decently. But there are other industries that, oh man, do they pay?
Yeah.
What you got? What are you about to share?
I'm just looking at so for today I got lucky. I have my little laptop open here on the side. So just looking at some of the TMUC averages. Well, what is it called now? East Texas A&M
You can't bring up my university. I'm not bringing up your university.
Well, we can bring it up.
Don't share that.
Okay.
Don't share it.
I'm talking about the coach, the football coach.
Still, don't share it. I don't want. Don't put my.
That's my alma mater.
Leave it up because I want to look at it after the podcast.
It's my alma mater.
But I don't want to talk about it during the podcast. I don't need to know how much anybody
let's
makes.
Just
do university we're not affiliated with.
It's my alma mater. I had to look it up. I forget that you worked there for a second because you work at the Dallas one.
I worked there.
You go there.
Yeah.
You go into the office.
As he looks up, just a little reference to pay and those kinds of things. It's decent, man. Like, and here's the thing: the other benefits, though, like, you'll never be without a shirt. What happened,
bro? I just heard
free T-shirts.
The head football coach at the University of Texas at Austin.
Okay, hold on. Don't say it. Think in your mind. Try to guess real quick. How much does the University of Texas football coach make? What's your guess right now as Cesar shares what it is? But before looking at that, let me try to guess. It's got to be at least...
And we're talking about one of the biggest in Texas, so UT Austin.
I want to say 600,000 to 800,000. My guess is going to be over $1 million.
Bro.
Is it over $1 million?
Let me read this for you. Head football coach of the University of Texas at Austin, Steve Sarkisian, has a guaranteed salary of $10.3 million.
I'm ignorant, dude.
For the 24 season.
I'm so ignorant.
Sarkisian's salary will increase $100,000 each year, and he'll reach 10.9 million at the end of the contract. Obviously, he might get renewed before that, and it might increase, and then he's eligible for 300,000 bonuses. Like a one time, and then 1.5 million in addition bonuses if the team makes it to the national championship. So,
which this year could be, they could.
And then look at this. It says Sarkisian is given 20 hours of personal use of the school's private plane each year.
20 hours.
20 hours a year, so he could use the unit. Well, hey, but it's a private plane.
I mean, $10 million a year. He
can own a private plane, but he's using the institution's plane. 20 hours a year. And who's paying for this? We all are. Just that. So that's why these salaries are public.
Because what about who's the most popular coach in college football? Who would you say? Like a USC or Penn State or
Alabama? I mean, it could be Alabama.
Oh yeah,
Let's see.
Still out there.
Well, he's retired now, but
before he retired, what was his name?
Saban. Yeah.
Steve Saban or something? Nick
Saban. So right now, the highest one is Kirby Smart from Georgia. He's at 13 mil.
Georgia.
With like 2 more mil in
bonuses.
And all that stuff. And listen to this, man. If he had a shitty season, and Georgia decided to be like, you know what, we don't want you no more. You know how much they have to pay?
They got to pay him out like
they got to buy him out. Yeah. You know how much? $118 million.
Damn, I thought he was gonna say 118,000, which is a lot.
Million. Next one up is Clemson's coach. He's making 11 mil with another 2 mil in bonuses with a 60 million buyout clause. 60 million. And then we got Steve from UT making 10.6.
He's third highest.
He's third highest right now, yeah.
Pretty impressive, man.
And that's as of 2024, yeah. So this year.
So look, what's the point? The point is that different parts of the university, you can't compare yourself.
No.
Like if you're a professor and your pay to what the coach makes, I mean, there's no comparison, right? It's two different worlds. Yeah, but the thing is, like, college sports are such a big part of everything you do. And actually, I'll cover that on the, like, what can you do on a college campus? What's the normal day?
It's a huge revenue.
Huge revenue, lots of fun, dude.
Yeah.
Like if you go to one of these schools, like our university, This year they're experiencing a tough time in sports, football. But in all the years, I know it's tough. But in all the years prior,
we've been pretty
we
good.
was winning, dude, including the national.
Well, that's what happens when you move from D2 to D1.
Yeah, that's the reality, man. And then, like I say all the time, leadership matters, dude.
Yeah.
If you've ever worked somewhere, Cesar, and I propose this to many of my colleagues, I said, you think about a time where you've had a boss so amazing that if they say, hey, can you work Saturday? Of course I can. Can you even work Sunday? Of course I can. We've had phenomenal bosses like that, or concepts and goals we want to make with the team where we could, days of the week don't matter. But you've also had bosses that are so terrible leaders, that if they say, can you stay, can I meet with you at 5:30? No, baby, I'm gone. Like, in matter of fact, like I've had some terrible bosses. I've had some straight up piece of shit bosses. You might have a piece of shit boss right now, because I know some of them are still working.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they are.
And why? Why? Because they've misunderstood what it means to be a leader. Leaders are not appointed.
Nope.
It's earned.
It's earned.
I passed by this high school today, and they won the state championship. They have a big old banner from last year, and it says, earned, not given. And I just think about that all the time. Like, everything we do, it must be earned. You appreciate it different. But if you just gave it to me, you're not going to take care of it the same way. It's the same thing, dude. On a gift or something like that with your children. Like, if they feel like, I earned this bicycle, I'm going to take care of it. But if it's just like, hey, if you break that bicycle, I'll buy you another one, then why would you take care of it? That's the reality.
Talking a little bit about that in higher ed, I mean, man, the impact that we make in students and the reputation we've built for ourselves in higher ed was not something that was given to us.
Absolutely not.
We've earned it the hard way.
And that's the thing about the university, is like, you can find a home here. Like, I wrote this down, program creation. If you have ideas, if you're someone who's creative and innovative, your university leadership wants to hear about it.
Yeah.
If you have the answer to helping specific groups do well, or groups who are not otherwise doing well, that's how we created our mentorship program. We looked at the data, and we saw that of all the groups, men, women, Black, white, Asian, Latino. Okay, so that's four groups. but 4 different ways. So eight total scenarios, right?
Yeah.
Distinctions. Of those, Black men, Latino men were graduating at the lowest rate.
Lowest rate, absolutely.
So, do we just be like, man, it sucks for y'all? Or do we say, let's create some mentorship program?
Let's understand why.
Yeah, and let's understand why, right? And so actually that was the whole thought behind the mentorship program that we created, why it was nationally recognized, because we turned a 30-40% graduation rate to a 90+% graduation. Man, those were the good actually times. For our numbers, there were 93% graduating.
Those were the good times.
Those are great times. And so in 4 years, overall, it was 99% graduation rate
per
in
class
5 years.
Group,
in 5 years. So one was, they all graduated just a little bit longer.
No, it took a little longer, yeah.
So the point is, like, if you're innovative, creative, and you have the energy, there's opportunities at a university for you to create programs.
Because when we've done these programs, we've had the buy-in, not just from our bosses, not just from immediate supervisors. We've had the buy-in from the whole university, from the president itself. We've had conversations with presidents from the work that we've done, not necessarily with whatever institution we've been. I think we've had those conversations, and we had, honestly, I had a direct line of contact with the president at one point when I was a student because of the work that we were creating.
Absolutely. Is that given?
No, absolutely not.
So the president, think about it, man. Like, if you're the president of the university, your time is so overwhelmed, so busy. I feel sorry for anyone who thinks they want to be university president, because if you're going after the money, that's a wrong job. That money does not justify how long your days are, how heavy they are. I've known, we've known many university presidents many vice presidents.
Yeah.
And it's a
Provost.
tough gig, dude. The provost, like, it's not, it's true for any leader. People say, man, I wish I could have Elon Musk money. You don't want to be
You don't want to do the work.
You don't want to do the work, and you sure don't want to be that guy. He doesn't.
And you don't want to deal with taxes too. That's another thing. But hey.
No, if I had billions of dollars, I can handle the taxes. You know what I mean? But the truth of the matter is, most people don't want to do the work.
Nah, man.
That's a lot of work, And so another thing that stands out. So program creation. Right?
I think that was the reason. So before we move forward with that, I think that was the reason why we were so successful with the program.
Absolutely.
Because we were the ones putting in the work. We wanted to put in the work. We were working 70, 80 hours a week with that program.
Oh yeah, just to that program.
Just to that program at that point in time. Because that's how committed we were with it. That's the reason why it got nationally recognized, because of the effort and time we put into it. Obviously, it took a toll on several different other aspects of our life at that point. Yeah. But that program, man.
You know what that program did? It inspired young minds. It created opportunities. It changed lives.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, if you joined and took it serious and went through the program and got your degree, I ran into some of these guys. I run into them all the time. I ran into
some engineers, bro. We got some doctors.
We got some phenomenal talent from men that perhaps some of them would have dropped out. Very likely some would have dropped out, and they did it. And so, like, look, if you think higher education is something you'd be interested in, I think you would do well. I think if you want to do the work and you want to inspire, higher education is the right place to be. If you think you're going to make lots of money, that's tell me an industry that makes a lot of money for it. There's not a whole lot.
Not many,
and so, but does it pay a decent wage? Absolutely.
Yeah.
You meet phenomenal colleagues, dude. Like, I've met some of the best people ever, dude.
And not even colleagues. I think we've also had the opportunity to meet some amazing, badass people, bro. Like,
I haven't even got there yet. I'm just on the colleagues, they're top.
Yeah, of course.
But you get to meet people who are visiting the university as guest speakers, as researchers.
People that we're bringing in to talk to our students. I just reminded me of that. The speaker series that we had during that last year. The amazing talent and devotion that these people had for their job, for what they do, and for the community. Just to name a few, I mean, like, bruh, we had a lot of people that year that we were able to. And I could name them all. Well, I couldn't name them all. That's why I'm not going to say any names out loud now, because I wouldn't want to do a disservice.
We're talking about speakers that change the lives of students. And not just students, staff and faculty.
That's changed our lives.
Staff member is someone who's works in industries like your college advisor, your financial aid kind of stuff. And the faculty member means they're a school the
teacher.
Teachers, right?
Mm-hmm. The professors.
Professor is a term we use in higher ed. If you go to a college campus and you say, hey teacher. They're not going to respond.
It ain't going to run.
It's not going to go. If you say Mr. or Mrs. and they have an earned doctorate, they are very likely not going to respond.
It's doctor, and then we move forward.
The advice we give students all the time is just refer to everyone as doctor.
Yeah, until they tell you.
And until they tell you otherwise.
Exactly.
And particularly on the teaching side of thing,
Yeah.
Dr. So-and-so, Dr. So-and-so, and you're going to be quite impressed. And so why an earned doctorate? It's the terminal degree within that field. But most often, you could teach with a master's degree or
sometimes in a bachelor's. Yeah.
But more often than not, at a university, you're going to have someone with their doctorate. So to be safe, refer to them as doctor and then their last name. And if they don't have it, they will correct you.
Yeah.
You also get to serve unique groups. I think about service to the veteran community, for example.
Yeah.
A few weeks back, we had our Veterans Vigil, which is I don't know, man, for me, just one of the nicer, coolest, honorable programs we do at the university. recognizing veterans and POWs, prisoners of war. And, it's just a really cool event, an opportunity to listen to some speakers and engage with others, all who serve this great nation. And so things like that. We have concert series and poets and elected officials, like literally anything, any kind of industry is going to be brought on a local, right? And the larger your city, very likely the larger the talent that's visiting. So if you have that connection to the university or you live near one, the tremendous resource that is, What else, man? Like, what are other kind of cool things about working on a university campus? College, university?
I think, honestly, for what I enjoy the most is honestly just see the students and like the student events and like the programming that we tend to use. I know one of the biggest things that we did, going back to my time as a student, the Hispanic Heritage Month event that we always had, like those big gatherings. I think those big events, I think that's cool for the staff and faculty to get involved with, because they're able to see the students in a different
students led, right? They created the event.
The students created
Black History Month,
LGBTQ,
Veterans Day,
all of that
stuff.
So things like that is cool for a staff now as a staff to join in, because you see the different talent again from your students, from the people that you're serving, and you're like, oh, cool. Like, this is a cool event. Like, thank you for inviting me, type of thing. Like, I think that's great.
And like for us, like neither of you are part of, we're not from, let's say, Asian communities. So our Asian students then host events. You go, you get to taste different food, learn about various cultures and meet people. It's like, it's a really cool piece that allows for me, the diversity side of understanding and how we get along
and that growth too. That we've never been exposed to a lot of that stuff because of different reasons or whatnot. So being able to experience some of these things at the first hand level, because people could be like, oh, it's just so amazing, blah 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 blah. But if you're able to experience it firsthand, I think that's where that benefit comes from, and that joy of being there is too.
No, man, it's cool, man. And, I've worked in a couple other industries. I've worked in some pretty tough ones and throughout my life. When you're my age, 50-something years old, you really, bro, it happens quick. You get to experience some different things. And I like the opportunities that I've had in higher ed. And I love the opportunity to engage with students and other staff members. And I've met some great people, man. And more importantly, and I celebrate with families, like to see someone come in as a freshman, 17, 18 years old, and then to develop as a young intellect, and then to graduate, 21, 22 years old, life-changing.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And we have those ceremonies as well to recognize
graduation ceremonies. I think another thing cool too that we've always done is the volunteering aspect of it. We just recently went to Feeding Our Starving Children. I think that's what it's called.
What's it called?
Feeding Our Starving Children. I think it's a nonprofit. Feeding Our Children, something like that. Here in Dallas, like being able to just package meals for some of these more needy individuals, some children in other countries and stuff like that. I think that's also a cool benefit that comes from being in the higher education world, because we're able to partner with some of these entities to bring our students, to bring our staff, to bring our faculty, to continue to provide some of those resources. I know we've done the big one that we did, Hurricane Harvey cleanup, whenever we went down there to Rockport. I mean, that was a huge week that we always did, that was provided by higher education, that we were able to bring students, we were able to bring staff, we were able to bring some of those students. And it also gives the students a different perspective, because we had some students that hadn't even seen the beach that week. So it gives you a different life.
On that same thing, like so we were able to connect students and get them out of their local community and travel 5, 6, 7 hours away and do all this. We've also had the opportunity to take students on international trips, to travel internationally. And that's the tough reality. Like some students, because of their status, they weren't allowed to travel.
But no, the opportunities are there for sure.
Tremendous opportunities, man. And like if you want to get promoted, you work hard, you can get promoted, man. You want to apply for an internal job to do something else within the university. Those opportunities are there.
Yeah.
You've made some great connections, and so like overall, to answer the question, what does a normal day look like? For the most part, there's some meetings, there's a lot of engagement, there's a lot of planning and preparation,
Yep.
there's a lot of actually doing. There's a lot of a meeting with families who are interested in earning those degrees, and also meeting with community liaisons and members, partners, to find more resources.
More avenues,
whether it's scholarship, internships are a big part of the college experience, man. Recruitment and job opportunities. So that's kind of what a normal day looks like. Again, some days slightly different. Summers are different from
some days highly different.
Yeah.
But that's true. We do work summers, so on like
people think like school teachers we're off for the summer. No. We are not.
So summers are heavy on the planning side, because we want to be prepared for whenever August hits. We don't want to be having to deal with, we'll wait till the students. No, we got to prepare for the students to get there. We got to have everything ready for them. Events, orientation, and we plan
events for the fall in August, and also the spring in January.
Yeah, so
over the summer.
December, and then December, November-ish area, whenever our students are gone and we're still there. Right. We also do a lot of planning for the following semester, the following couple semesters, the following summer. Because whether you know it or not, things move very slow in higher ed.
That's right.
Planning-wise. It's not like we could just throw a big event tomorrow or the next week. It has to go through a lot of approvals, right. budgets, all of that.
Yep. What about dang, I just had a thought in my head. How many days off do you get for Thanksgiving? A week or two?
You're funny. Shoot, a day or two maybe? I think we get 2 days. Thursday and Friday.
Okay.
Christmas.
So you're not off for the summer, because my friend's a school teacher at the local school district. They're off for the summer.
Nah, bro. They're in the beach.
Days off during the summer.
No. I mean, on one, maybe.
I think
4th of July.
4th of July.
That's it. And then if you take your vacation days, maybe. But other than that, no official days off.
Okay. Christmas. Is it a month off, or is it 3.5 weeks?
It's like less than a week. Depending on when it lands,
and that's the thing. So it depends. Like if it's a Monday, you might have that whole week off.
Yeah, if it's on a Wednesday, you have Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday, Friday, and Monday you're back on at work or whatever. Yeah, so it depends on when it falls. So we're usually off from like the 25th through the 31st.
For sure.
For sure. Like that's
sometimes even the 24th.
Sometimes the 24th if the president is feeling generous.
And that's hard, particularly for the Latino population, because the Latino population celebrates Christmas on the 24th.
Man, I remember being in commerce, living in commerce till that point, and because I wasn't a staff member. I was a student worker. I was about to say I was a staff member at commerce. I was never a staff. But being able to do that, like I had to leave literally the 24th to go to Christmas at home and drive back home.
Dude, my head's freaking out right now.
No.
So, and I learned about that living in Latin America is like the 24th is because I would tell people, it's like, I'm born on Christmas. They're like, you were born on the 24th? Like, no, the 25th.
The real Christmas.
Yeah, and in the United States we celebrate Christmas morning.
Yeah.
But in Latin America it's 24th. Right?
Well, technically it is on the 25th.
No, technically
because we start the celebration on the
24th.
We start the celebration on the 24th. Yeah, because we eat dinner, blah blah blah, but then we
the prep. So if you have, my point is, like, if you have to work in higher ed and you work that day till 5, you're not popular in your family.
No, nah, bro.
You showing up and then go home, shower, change, and then show up to the house. No, and you're tired. You worked a full day that day.
Yeah.
So for the most part, weekends you're off. For the most part, right?
Yeah, depending on your role, too.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you're a recruiter, you do spend some times.
You spend a lot of time on the road, bro. Honestly, I think that's why I liked being at that age. I liked being a recruiter. I was 21, 22 when I was a recruiter. Yeah. I enjoyed being out.
Yeah,
I enjoyed the driving. I enjoyed staying in a hotel for a week or a little week and a half, 2 weeks.
It's a cool job if you're a young professional.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Like you go to different areas, different schools, different
high schools,
pre-established events.
Yeah.
You set up your table. You have your little suitcase kind of thing. You have everything in there.
Little rolling cart.
And then you look presentable. You look nice. You know all the information about the university you're working for. You meet students. You get them excited about your university, and then you wrap it up. You go to the next one. 2 or 3 a day. You do that all week long. Then you come back home. It's like it's a great job.
Yeah.
At one time, our university had the highest paid recruiters in the state of Texas. True, dude.
No, I remember. Like, yeah, it was.
And again, so like super competitive pay, and more importantly, you learn a lot about the university you're working for. You really get to get a great sense from the community and what they need, what they're looking for, and your administration likes hearing.
And you get to build relationships while you're out there, bro. Because it's not, whenever you go to the events and the recruitment, it's not just one school. You got 10, 15, 20, 30 schools there at the same time. And the recruiters, you basically follow each other.
That's right.
We basically go from one event to another event. Sometimes we're literally following each other on the road to get to those other high schools or those other events.
They feed you okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have snacks. Sometimes they have meals.
And so you build those relationships with the other recruiters. You get to hang out with them after hours, like after you guys are done. And exchange some of those stories, other ideas. So it's pretty cool to do that as well. So
a recruiter is a great job. And if you're a young professional, consider that as well. If you're about to graduate from college, consider applying for a job at your university. And they like hearing people who are alumni. I mean, hiring people who are alumni because you have a different perspective. As you move up, there are different positions you can have. You can work your way up, from coordinator to director, executive director, senior executive director, assistant VP, vice president, president, all kinds of different roles.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
I remember my homeboy used to say, like, dude, I never thought that I could make good money managing a gym. I was like, what do you mean? He says, we have a campus recreation center.
Yeah.
It's a gym. And I'm the manager, I'm the director of it, and I make pretty good money doing it. It's like, legit, man. It's like sharing with other people the amount of resources. If you want to be we have our own police force.
Yeah.
Like
chief of police.
You can work your way up to chief of police at your local community college or university, and have that representation. And your engagement is largely with students.
We don't have a SWAT team.
SWAT team?
And Commerce, we do.
At our university police department? I didn't know that. Well, I wouldn't know that. I don't need SWAT coming to my house.
I don't either. I know people in it.
Really?
Fraternity brothers.
Wow.
What's his name was part of it?
Don't say names.
No, I'm just saying what's his name was part of it.
Don't say what's his name.
I'm trying to remember.
My blood pressure goes up. Like, he's going to say names.
No. But he was part of it. And the Commerce.
Whisper. No, I'm just kidding. We ain't
going to do that. Not yet.
Here's the thing, man. If you're interested in a job in higher ed, I suspect that's why that we were getting these questions. Like, what's it like though? You can do it, man.
You can do anything.
It's a great job, and sometimes they give you incentives to get more degrees.
You know which one I was about to mention? A good work or work.
Let me make my point about the degrees.
Go for it.
Yes, they will pay for you. Many places to get your next degree, another degree, or your master's level at A&M Commerce. Let me brag about my university. We have an incentive for you to get your doctorate.
They don't want to hire me.
Can you imagine if you work for our university and you want to get your doctorate and they offset the cost or pay whatever it is? Huge resource. Other universities have similar. Look into that.
Yeah, no, one of the, talking about incentives, Rest Life. If you do Rest Life, you can even get a paid for apartment house or a college housing apartment, whatever.
Explain that. What is Res Life?
Residential life. So yeah.
So like your apartments.
Yeah. So basically dealing with the students living on campus. So whether it be in a dorm, whether it be apartment style complexes, whatever, you're the one monitoring.
You're like the manager.
Yeah, you're the manager of that complex. So they give you an apartment in there. They give you a meal plan for the university.
But you are managing rowdy 18 and 19-year-olds.
Yeah, I feel bad. I feel bad for my dorm people whenever I live there.
Listen, that's a tough job.
It's a really tough job.
You earn your paycheck.
And you are on call even at late hours of the night. It's not it's not an 8 to 5 job where okay, I'll go back to my apartment and I'm done with it. Nah, if that happens in the middle of the night,
You
if
gotta
these
be
rowdy
a
kids,
different
whew,
kind of like resolve and calm. Like the guy
yeah,
who at my university, who's the director of the housing, he's the nicest, most calm dude. You have to be.
you
Like
have
if
to
you
be.
were like high strung and
Mm,
you know hardwired, like yeah, that's not a job
nah,
for you, dude.
uh-uh.
You would freak out. You got to be like,
Okay,
oh,
cool.
okay, well,
Let's deal with it.
there are consequences, and we'll work on that. That's not. And you appreciate that level. It's the same thing. I like to brag
Yeah,
about our university police department. The entire staff
yeah.
and our
No, they're great.
leadership, man, they're badass.
Yeah.
Like they just know how to talk to students. I'm sure there's an example or two out there of people saying, "Oh yeah," but I'm telling you, I've been there almost 20 years,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been able to reach out to them directly, personally, and be like, "Hey, can we?" Absolutely. Let's
Yeah.
always get better. And who else? Who else can say they work at a place like that? I worked
Yeah,
there,
no, it's
man.
a great.
It's
That's a
cool,
great
man.
PD.
It's a great leadership, and that's the thing is right with my point earlier. In any job you have with the right leadership,
Oh yeah.
bro, you'll work 80, 90 hours,
Yeah.
and with the wrong leadership,
8 to 5 and
man,
that's it.
40,
30, 37,
35,
38.
38,
Bonus.
yeah. And then this quiet quitting, like people who are not, you're there but you're not really working.
Oh
A
yeah.
lot of that too. I'm telling you, I'm lucky that the teams I've been on have been people that just grind, bro, grind. And we get competitive with each other. So the competitive piece allows for us to be like, hey, let's see who could, whatever, do this better or do this
Mm-hmm.
at more numbers. And so that goes a long way. And I challenge you to find a university that and college university or a workplace environment that makes you better and serves people better,
Yeah.
and that's the secret. Like the other day, I went to a local little store kind of thing, Dollar Tree, General, whatever it was, and the lady was so rude. Like she was so rude to the guy in front of me. I was like, man, I hope this lady not rude to me because I'm the kind of dude who will say something. But really lately, I've been working on
Mm-hmm.
not saying nothing. So I got up, and this lady is rude to me, and I'm looking at her, and I'm just like triggered, if you will, and I'm about to say something. What do I do? And then I look at this lady, and she's just like getting my change, she's throwing it down. I'd be like, she's just being
Oh
ugly. I'm just
man.
like, I ain't said a word. And I looked at her and I thought, I know what I'm gonna say. So I kind of hyped myself up to say something. It was not gonna be nice. So I just chose not to say anything.
Yeah.
Not say anything. And you know why, dude? Because I feel sorry for her, dude. I thought this is a tough job. She's older.
Hmm.
She's having to do this job. She's having to survive. I don't know what the guy did, if anything at all, to upset her. But she's gonna be upset for a while.
For the rest of the day.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
by the seventh or eighth customer, she's chilled out and not slamming money down and making comments and that. But had I said something, it would have made her day
Yeah.
worse. And I probably was gonna say something like just something not nice. And rather than that, dude, I just said, "Man, I feel sorry for that lady." In my head, I walked out, and I just thought, I just paused before I got into my car, and I said, "I'm just so thankful, man, that I have a great job, and I ask that I'm never in a position where I have to do something that I hate so much
Yeah.
that I start treating people ugly, dude." And there are people that are living their life and circumstances that they're ugly to you, but it's not about you;
Mm-hmm.
it's about them.
It's about them. Yeah.
And that's older age wiseness comes and it allows you. But I think maybe later, if I was in my 20s, I'd be like, you know why you do this job? You can't get nothing else, or da da da, or whatever. You ugly, I don't know, whatever else. Things people told me, and it's like,
You're short.
but yeah, you short little ugly dude. Like, huh? That's not very nice. So you're thinking,
My
well, what
mama
did you
thinks
get?
I'm handsome.
Yeah, my mom said I was handsome. But what did you get from it? Did that make you feel better to kind of make fun of someone? Or no, just pobrecita, let the lady be. And I feel sorry for her, dude. The point is this: customer service goes a long way, dude.
Absolutely.
And hopefully, you have leadership that puts people in a position where they are happy because they love their
They
job.
love what they do. Yeah.
Well, you've seen people, dude. In our industry,
absolutely.
they go through these periods where someone hates their job and they make it miserable for
For everybody.
Hate to see it, man.
But
if you're looking for a job, higher ed can be the one.
Absolutely.
If you're looking for a unique industry, man, higher ed might be that
could be
that place for you, right? But yeah, we just wanted to touch on that and keep sending us the questions. Our primary is talking about the scenario of our last 30 days of life, but occasionally we're cool with stopping to share a little bit about ourselves and what our normal day looks like. But the truth of the matter is, we get to do a podcast and we get to have the energy to speak because we acknowledge the privilege of working in the industry that is doing well and has done well.
Absolutely.
And specifically has changed lives, man. More specifically, it's changed our lives.
Yep.
You know, so thank you all for listening, man. Keep sending those questions in. We appreciate it. Send us something different. We're down to you know our emails.
We talked politics the other day. We talked higher ed today.
That was edgy for us. We don't get too much trouble.
I hope y'all are watching this because that means we didn't get canceled because of it.
This week we did not get canceled, right? But this is an industry we know a lot about, man. You know, we get invited often to speak at different places about higher ed, about our podcast. If you want to invite us, hit us up too, man. We can find some time. We have some really great partners and supervisors that, you know, if we need to take a vacation day to spend some time on your campus, high school or college, we're down for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Let us know.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
We'll see you guys next week.
Let's see y'all next week.